Some people, and I mean this with full affection, cannot stop themselves. In the middle of a normal conversation, they say something like, "A day on Venus is longer than a year on Venus." No one asked. It didn't fit. It just appeared. And if you've ever done that, this is about you. Not people in general. You. The person who remembers strange things, but forgets simple ones. Keys, phone, names. You remember octopuses have 3 hearts, but not what you walked into the room for. That contrast matters. That's the first thing worth sitting with. Because it's not random. It feels random, but it isn't. And it's not really about memory. Here's the part most people miss. It doesn't care what's useful. It doesn't care what was on the test. It stores what your nervous system cared about. That's it. Curiosity, surprise, emotion. That's the filter. If something makes you pause, it stays. If it doesn't, it disappears. So when you learned something strange as a kid and felt that tiny wait, what moment, your brain marked it, not because it was useful, but because it was different. Your brain loves different. Your brain's a reason for that. Your brain is built to detect patterns, and more importantly, breaks in patterns. When something doesn't match expectations, it stands out, and standing out means survival, at least historically. So even if the fact is useless today, your brain treats it like it matters. That's why it stays. You didn't try to remember it. You just noticed it. And noticing is enough. There's actually research on this. In 2014, a study showed something interesting. When people feel curious, they remember more. Not just the thing they're curious about. Everything around it. Faces, details, random information, it all sticks better. Curiosity opens something. Like your brain becomes more receptive, wider, more alert. And if you're someone who collects random facts, this state probably happens to you a lot. More than you realize. Think about it. You click one thing, then another, then another. Suddenly it's been an hour. You didn't plan it, but it felt good. That's not an accident. That's your brain being rewarded. There's a personality trait called openness. People high in it enjoy novelty. They don't just tolerate it, they seek it. Their brain reacts differently. New information feels good. Literally, dopamine is involved. That means learning something strange is rewarding, not boring, not neutral, rewarding. So you're not forcing attention. You're being pulled. And over time, that pull builds patterns. Because here's something most people don't notice. Your random facts aren't random. They cluster. They have themes. Think about the things you know. There's probably a pattern. Maybe space. Maybe animals. Maybe history. Maybe weird comparisons. Like Cleopatra living closer to modern times than pyramids. Or sharks existing before trees. Or the number of card combinations being insane. These facts feel random. But they all do one thing. They break expectations. They expand your sense of reality. That's why they stay, not because they matter, but because they shift something inside you. They create wonder. And wonder is powerful. Your brain doesn't ignore wonder. It keeps it. These facts are not useless. They are moments where the world became bigger. Even if only for a second. That's what you're collecting. Not data, moments. And that changes how you see yourself, because society doesn't frame it that way. Society says, useful equals good, useless equals bad. If it doesn't help you win, it's a waste. But your brain doesn't work like that. It never did. Your brain is not a machine. It's not built for efficiency. It's built for experience. And these small pieces of knowledge, they're like objects you pick up along the way. You don't need them. But you keep them. Because something about them mattered. Like small stones in your pocket. You don't use them. But you don't throw them away either. There's also a social side to this. Some people keep these things to themselves. They enjoy knowing. Quietly, others share them. They say them out loud. Sometimes at the wrong time, sometimes awkwardly. But it's not random. It's not pointless. It's connection. When you share a strange fact, you're not just giving information. You're inviting someone in. You're saying, look at this. Isn't this interesting? It's a subtle way of connecting, and when someone responds, when they say, wait, really, that moment matters, because they met you there. Not everyone does. Some people don't care. Some people ignore it. Some people shut it down. And if that happened to you growing up, you probably learned something. Maybe you were too much. Too curious. Too talkative. Too random. So you adjusted. You didn't stop being curious. You just became quieter about it. More selective. But the curiosity stayed. Because it doesn't go away once you keep feeling. It becomes part of how you think. Part of how you see things. And if you still sometimes say those things out loud, even knowing it might not land, that says something. It means you didn't fully shut it down. You kept a part of it, and that matters. Because the alternative is pretending the world isn't interesting. And for some people, that's impossible. They see patterns everywhere. They question things, not loudly, but constantly, and over time that builds a different kind of mind. A mind that isn't just focused on outcomes, but on understanding, or even just noticing. And noticing is underrated. Because most people stop noticing. They move fast. They filter everything. Only what's useful stays. Everything else gets ignored. But you didn't fully do that. You kept some of it. The strange parts, the unnecessary parts. The interesting parts. And those parts change how you experience life. They add depth. They make things less flat. Less predictable, even small things. A fact, a detail. Very repetitive, very narrow. Curiosity interrupts that. It opens things, even briefly, and if you've spent years collecting those moments, that's not wasted space, that's evidence of something. You're still paying attention. You're still responsive. You're still engaged with the world in a way that hasn't been flattened. And that's rare. More rare than it should be. Because curiosity takes energy. It takes attention, and most people redirect that attention toward goals, tasks, outputs. You didn't fully do that. You left some space for questions, for randomness, for things that don't have a clear purpose. And that space. So the next time you feel that urge to say something random, to share a strange fact, you don't have to treat it like a flaw. You can manage it. You can choose timing. But you don't have to shame it. It's just how your brain works. A brain that notices. A brain that cares about things most people overlook. Even in small ways, even in passing, even in conversations where it doesn't quite fit. And honestly, there are worse ways to move through life than that. If this felt familiar, if you recognized yourself in this, then you're probably someone who thinks a little deeper than average. Which means you'll probably enjoy the other videos here too. And, if you want to support these kinds of psychology deep dives, hit the join button. I'd genuinely appreciate it. See you in the next one.